You've had your receivers drop a lot of passes this year. Have you gone through that at any point in your career? And if so, how did you fix it?
I think you've coached long enough. You've gone through things in your career that happens. Whether it's sometimes it's fumbles, sometimes it's interceptions, drop passes. You want to continue to coach the fundamentals of whether it's if you're fumbling the ball, how to carry the ball properly. And the specific question that you answered about dropping the ball, it's the fundamentals of two eyes, two hands, seeing it, catching the ball, catching the ball, focus on catching the ball, and getting it tucked. Sometimes it becomes a confidence thing. Kind of like my putting. If I'm missing the short putts, then I overthink it, and then I can't make a short putt. But just the routine of catching ball day in and day out of what you do at practice. Obviously, we've tried to catch more balls, whether it's jugs, whether it's throwing to guys, throwing to each other, whether it's quarterbacks throwing them extra balls. But repetition is the mother of all skills. So we're going to continue to rep catching that ball, getting it tucked, and building that confidence in practice that'll lead to game day.
Yeah, you've had a few weeks now to prep Gunner for being the starting quarterback. How has he handled being quarterback one for this team in that time since, and what are your expectations for him?
He's approached it just like he has all season. I can't say enough of the way he started the season and approached every game, which sometimes that's just words that we say you got to be ready. But his day in and day out, how he approached getting ready for the game as if he was the starter, I think has prepared him for this moment. If you asked me that last year, I don't think he had that same mindset. We talked about it going into the season. You got to prepare as you're the starter every week, and he took that to heart, and he did an excellent job of that. Now, moving into this game prep, things are centered around him and his strengths and what he does well. That was the difference, in weeks before where it was centered around Carson and what he does well with our football team. Now it's centered around Gunner and what he does well. So things are a little bit more specific to him. Questions are asked to him, whether he likes this scheme or this play going into practice and whether we carry it or not. We have those conversations where before it was with, Carson because he was the starter. I think he's handled it well. He's preparing. He's getting ready to play a very, very tough opponent, a very good defense football team.
Mike, can you take me back to halftime of the Texas game, how you approached, turning to Gunner, with 15, 20-minute window to get ready?
Well, it's the nature of the beast, and this game that we played football. First of all, you felt bad for Carson Beck. One of the reasons he came back was to get to Atlanta and help his team win an SEC championship, and he did that. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play the second half, but what he battled through this year to get us to that point, get us back to that game, back to Atlanta, and in position to win that football game. I know our first half was what we wanted offensively, but that's why you play two halves. That's why you play 60 minutes. So felt bad for him. But you had to turn the page, quickly. We were kind of talking about what if and waiting for the word, and found out he was out, and then kind of going over the plays that we were going to call the opening drive of the third quarter of what we're going to do and things that he liked in certain situations, whether it was red zone or third down. You've got the things that the guys, their favorites going into the game, and a lot of them on my sheet are starred of what Carson's might be his favorite of what we have on the menu. So I had to go back over what Gunner's favorites were for those situations. Then you address the football team and talk about, hey, this is what we're going to do. So how we win the football game. Let's go do it. Everybody's got to do their job. And the guys were fired up to go play the second half. One, we didn't play well the first half, but it's a ball game chance to go win the SEC championship.
Mike, having the extra time to prepare for this game, how much did that part of it help you and Gunner kind of get in the right, frame of mind and preparation, all that kind of thing?
Well, I think anytime you have extra time to prepare, it's beneficial. And obviously a lot of that extra time, we didn't know who our opponent was, so it was getting back to basics, not just for Gunner, but for this whole football team, and put him in a lot of situational football that we would have done for anybody, but it was a chance to get him more third down opportunities, more red zone work, more 2-minute work for the end of the game against our defense. So I think that extra time was beneficial that we got to kind of go back to camp mode and practice those situational football where he's got a lot of it, but not as much as your starter would get. So for him to get those reps against our defense, a lot of situations that Coach Smart put us in, I think can only help us in the game.
Mike, you were asked about the drops earlier, and Arian has been a guy that's been kind of the focal point of that, but he still, y'all keep putting him out there, and then he keeps making plays, including some big catches late in games and SEC championship, the play as the gunner and the fake punt. Is he, in a way, he almost kind of embodies this team and this offense?
Yeah, I haven't thought of it by that way, but I think we are a very resilient group as a football team and offensively. Kind of all year it hasn't been perfect, and it's never perfect, but it hasn't been smooth, and we've kind of embraced that things might get hard. But he has had a lot of tough breaks in his career here at the University of Georgia with his injuries, with some drops before, but he continues to go out there with a good attitude and give everything he's got. I just think about the one play in the championship game where his hustle and his cover down to recover that ball that I believe Nate fumbled, led to, I think we only got a field goal that drive, but led to points, which was the difference in going into overtime against Texas. Everything he does is full speed, and there's a reason he gets thrown a lot of balls. He's open. He's the fastest guy on the field, and when he gets on the field, people know he's on the field. And sometimes, I know we want to catch every one of them, but sometimes when you put that pressure on the defense that here's number 11 in the game and you're throwing that ball deep, it has an impact on them whether you're catching it or not.
A couple questions about backup guys. You had to go to him because you lost a couple of starters, but what have you seen from Ryan Puglisi and Jaden Rashada this week, and what is the status of Brandon Robinson and Roderick Robinson?
The quarterbacks, they've been, what they've done all year. They come in with the expectation that we got to prepare like we're the starter. I know I'm giving you the answer, but that's true, what we do in our room. Now, they've got more opportunities because we're down a quarterback. So, and how we practice at University of Georgia, Coach Smart is going to continue to try to develop. So, throughout this whole ball practice, 1s, 2s, and 3 groups are going. So now you've only got less quarterbacks repping, so those guys are getting more reps. So they're obviously going to help their development. They're getting more reps. They've done a nice job. I think since day one to now, I don't even know what day we're on, you've seen good and bad every day. You're seeing less bad and seeing more good, and they've got to prepare because you never know, knock on wood, what's gonna happen in any given moment for those guys to prepare to get ready to play. And they're up there meeting with I think one of them is meeting with Coach Streeter, and one of them has got a meeting with Coach Van Gorder here in the next couple minutes. So the expectation of how they got to approach every day, they're rising to the standard that we set, and they're doing a great job. As far as injuries, that's a question for Coach Smart. I'm not going to comment on any injuries.
Yeah, Carson recently announced that he's declaring for the NFL draft. How would you assess how he played this season and sort of battled through some of the ups and downs he went through?
Well, obviously, when you look at the stats, they aren't the same stats as the year before. But the goal is and you're in this league, is to win the SEC championship. And he was the quarterback of that team to get us to that game and put us in that position. And everything's not going to be pretty every game, but his resiliency throughout a game, whether it went good or bad, to overcome those things, whether of his own doing, of my doing as a play caller, of a drop or an execution, to be resilient and find a way to help us win football games in the fourth quarter says a lot about our football team and him, the quarterback of our football team. We get in this society where we want everything to look perfect and look great. But I told him on several occasions, you're going to grow more, and you've proven more to me this year of your resiliency. If things not going well, and finding a way to win games in the fourth quarter, I think says a lot about him and this football team.
Drew started a couple of games this season, I think it was, and obviously had a role in that fake punt. Were you able to enjoy any of that?
No. I was, you don't. You're focused on your deal during a game, and then after the Auburn game, and realized that we played and beat Auburn. I know, anytime you beat Auburn, whether it's home or away, is huge. And that locker room, to share that moment with him was special. And then have a start the next week against Mississippi State. I really didn't share with him until after each game when I watched in the locker room and then when I watched the film. But proud of him and proud of how he works hard and is a total team player. It's funny, the fake punt, I was upset that we're punting again and looking down at my sheet, what we're going to do next. And I didn't even realize coach had said, "Hey, we're going to fake punt." I really didn't even know Drew was the one that tossed it to him. Hartley hit me and said, "Hey, we're on offense." It wasn't until after the game that somebody said, Drew, everybody kept saying, "Oh, your son with that pass." I didn't know what they were talking about. So it was cool to find out that, it was a pass that he threw on that fake punt, which was a huge play in the game. And glad he executed and didn't screw it up. Then we'd have two Bobos everybody could yell at.
First question on the Zoom. Let's go to Palmer Toms.
Yeah, Mike, what does the presence of Trevor Etienne do for this offense, especially given the month or so stretch there where he was so banged up?
Well, we think he's a special back that gives us a chance to hit a home run anytime he touches the ball. Nothing more evident than that the game Texas run a simple zone play. Their frontside defense end kind of stuck his head in the wrong gap, and he bounced it outside. It was an explosive play. It kind of got that drive going and got the offense ignited. So, you wish he would have been healthy all year. He's kind of he was in and out early in the year, and then the 4 or 5 weeks that he was out, hurts you a little bit, but that's football. The thing about Trevor that I love, obviously he's just been here 1 year, but he's came in here with the right mindset. He's embraced the team. He's embraced whatever Coach Smart's asked him to do, whatever I've asked him to do, whatever Coach Crawford's asked him to do. It was a time for him to go play. He plays, and he plays for his teammates, which he just got to know his teammates, 6 or 7 months ago. And that you can't say enough about what a young man he is. And I think that part, obviously, he's a great talent that can run and catch and out of the backfield and can be explosive for us. But I think how he handles himself and how he integrated into this culture of what Coach Smart has here at the University of Georgia says more about him and his impact on our football team than anything.
Next question, we'll go to Bailey Burmaster.
Hey, Coach, you've talked about things being tailored to Gunner more now, obviously, but I'm curious for you how your preparation changes and how you handle him versus how you and Carson went about things, because, no one athlete is the same. They don't approach things the same, and they don't take criticism the same.
Yeah, that's a good question. I kind of warned him early on in the first meeting that I'm going to be who I am. Don't get sensitive to the way that I coach, whether it's hard. But at the same time, coaching any young man, you're going to find out how, they handle things differently. Some guys might, want to watch more film. Some guys might want to go walk through more. But I've got to be me, and my message to Gunner, and really to any quarterback that I've ever coached, is you have to be Gunner Stockton. You can't try to be Coach Kirby Smart, Coach Mike Bobo. You can't try to be Carson Beck. You can't try to be Jake Fromm, Stetson Bennett. You have to be Gunner Stockton, because I'm going to be Mike Bobo, and I want you to be Gunner Stockton. And if we're who we are all the time around each other, I think that's where the trust goes, and you can get further along in a relationship and getting where you want to go on the football field if you handle it that way, and nobody's trying to be somebody else.
Next question, we'll go to Ted Lewis.
Yes, Mike, you talked about Trevor a little earlier. Just this season, how much has he brought to your team? And I know it's got to be frustrating for Georgia to be 15th in the league in rushing. How do you overcome? What do you put your problems with that at? And do you feel like you've overcome them going into the playoffs?
Obviously it is frustrating. We pride ourselves on being able to run the ball. I could sit here and give you, a lot of reasons, but all they'd be is excuses, point blank. You could sit here and say injuries, you can say this, but bottom line is excuse. We got to be able to run the ball if we want to continue to win in these playoffs. I think the second half of that Texas game, we said, hey, one of the big things I said at halftime, I said, hey, we're not just going to go out there and throw the ball. We got to get balanced and we got to run the football. And I think those backs and those linemen took ownership in that and played hard and blocked for those guys, and we broke some tackles. We got to find ways to move the ball on the ground. I think we've got a good offensive line that I think we're the most healthy that we've been at offensive line, tight end, running backs. So I think that's going to help us be able to run the ball, and then a commitment to the run. We got to be committed to the run, whether things are going good or things are going bad, to still run that ball to help us be balanced and run and pass.
And again, we'll take questions inside the room. Please raise your hand and we'll bring it around to you.
Yeah, Carson just announced that he'll be declaring for the NFL draft as longtime friend of his. How do you think that Carson should be remembered for his time here at Georgia?
I think Carson should be remembered as a great player. I mean, he's who got us to this point in our season. So him getting hurt, I don't think should have any effect on his legacy he's left here. I mean, he's brought us to 2 national championships. Some could say he won us one, but I mean, he's had a tremendous career here. And the guy who waited his turn, had the opportunity to go anywhere in the country and play, and decided to wait his turn here.
Tate, obviously you play one of the, if not one of the toughest positions, on the team. And Kirby has spoken several times how beat up this group has been as a unit, really for probably a better part of the year. Can you just kind of, elaborate on that a little bit? How difficult has it been for guys to kind of fight through what you're doing, and kind of where are you at? Are you all at health-wise right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's football. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get hurt. So, and I think we've done a great job of pushing through that and playing when we can play. And at this point in the season, everybody's going to be banged up. Everybody's got injuries. But playing through it, I think, is a big thing. And right now, we're focused on getting healthy right now.
Saw yesterday you accepted your invite to the Senior Bowl. I mean, I know it's all playoffs right now, but once that's over, I mean, you have a chance to go to this, event. Just how important is that for you, and why did you decide to accept the invite?
Decided to accept the invite, just get more looks, reps against really good players, and but yeah, right now it's all Notre Dame right now. I'm not really thinking about that.
I know Notre Dame's going to be missing one of their better players on their defensive line. What's your impressions of when you studied their film? Kind of what kind of challenge they present?
They have a really physical defense. They're really good at what they do. They're quick up front. Their movements, their stunts, their blitzes, and they have a really just technically sound defense. They don't bust a lot. They're in the right places, and they just play good, sound football.
Yeah, these last couple of weeks you've had to practice and prepare. Where have you seen Gunnar Stockton grow the most in that time with the opportunity that he has?
I'd say the way he just takes control of the huddle. Now I can tell he's got full control of our huddle, and the way he steps in, calls the plays, and just goes about his business. And then, I mean, I walked in here the other night at 10 o'clock because I forgot something. Gunner's sitting in there watching film. So, just his buy-in right now is what's huge, and just the respect he has for everybody.
Kind of staying on the Gunner subject. Now, everybody saw in the SEC championship game come out the second half, everybody saw the juice and energy that everybody had. Why was that the case with Gunner? What is it about him that said, hey, we're going to go fight for this guy. We're going to do whatever we can for this guy?
I mean, he plays with a lot of emotion, and just seeing the way he's carried himself and done everything the right way in his prior years leading up to this moment. And then Gunner's just a guy you want to block for. I mean, he's just a great guy. Like I said, plays with emotion, brings everybody with him, and now he has the whole team behind him ready to roll.
Any other questions in person right now? All right, let's switch over to Zoom questions.
Okay, first question will go to Palmer Toms.
Yeah, Tate, just what kind of difference does Trevor make for this offense, knowing that the month that it was without him being so banged up?
Yeah, I mean, I think he makes a huge difference. He's an explosive back. He's an experienced back, and I mean, in the Texas game, saw what him being back did. I mean, he runs the ball hard. He makes the right reads, and I mean, he makes us look good a lot of the times.
Next question will go to Bailey Burmaster.
Tate, how would you describe the energy around this team right now? Practice seemed pretty juice yesterday. You're coming off the bye. Everyone feels healthy. I have to imagine you guys are feeling a bit hungry to get to New Orleans.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement to get down there and play a really good football team, and I think everybody looks forward to just another opportunity to go play the game we all love. And practice energy has been great. I mean, these past 2 days we've had, I think, really good practices, really good energy.
And we'll do a last question with Charles Odom from the Associated Press.
Everybody always talks about the next man up mentality in football, but it's asking a lot of a quarterback to make his first start in a playoff atmosphere. What do you see from Gunner that gives you confidence and about his ability to lead this offense in this atmosphere?
I mean, I think just his confidence in himself. I mean, you can go out there and see it practice. He doesn't doubt himself, and I think you have to be confident to play quarterback. And just kind of seeing the buy-in that this team has had behind him and the way we've all rallied around him, I think is huge for him to see that happen. And just like I said, the way he's been carrying himself at practice, off the field, on the field. So just seeing him do that.
Tate, I think you came in with Arian Smith. He's obviously had some tough moments this year with drops, but he just keeps going at it, and he's had some pretty clutch moments too. What is he like as a guy on the sideline after those moments, and in terms of his resiliency and how he's able to do that?
Yeah, I was just about to say that he's a really resilient person in general. He's been through his ups and downs his whole career here, and just to see how a play might not go his way, and then 3 plays later he's making a huge play, and his mood never changes on the sideline. He's always in a good mood, but just the way he's handled himself after what stuff he might not want to happen during a game, just the way he keeps control and just kind of keeps going out there and making plays.
Oscar, there's a picture of you and Gunner, I guess, right after the SEC championship game where you come up to him and really give pat him on the back, whatever. Just knowing him the way you do, just why was that so big for him? And what is it about him that makes his team want to rally around him like they obviously have?
Yeah, I mean, me and Gunner, we go back a long way. I mean, since high school, we've known each other, and I've lived with him since I got here. And it's just really, it was a special moment for both of us. I mean, getting to have him come in there and play alongside each other was really cool. I'm just so happy for him. I get to see the work he puts in every day, and I know how hard he works and how hard he prepares, even when he wasn't playing. I mean, he's watching film 4 or 5 hours a night after practice, and he didn't know if he was going to play a snap that week. And for it to finally kind of, all come full circle was super cool. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question?
No, you answered.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
Yeah, just obviously you guys had to replace Brock this year and he's tearing it up in the NFL. What do you make of the year that the tight end room as a whole has had? And obviously going about replacing him, but also the production and season you guys have had.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just, comes down to just, practicing hard and, just doing what we're asked to do. I mean, you can never guarantee targets, you can never guarantee catches. You just gotta, show up every day and, do what's called and, just do it to the best of our ability. And I think we've shown what we're capable of, and we got a really good room. We got a lot of good guys in that room, and we got a lot of playmakers. I mean, you just got to do your job. I mean, as a tight end here, you're asked to do a lot. So I mean, a lot of things go unnoticed and unseen that are kind of maybe it's blocking or protecting, but I mean, we're out there making an impact on every play. So.
2 questions for you. One, what have you seen from Notre Dame on film? You talk about watching film a lot. What have you seen? And also, tell me a little bit about your 2 freshman tight ends and how they've changed from the first practice to now.
Yeah, I mean Notre Dame, they've got a big, physical, strong defense. I mean they're gonna load the box and they're gonna try to stop the run. And there's be a lot of matchups, a lot of one-on-one opportunities And, they've got good players and we've got good players too. So it's really just going to be one-on-ones and, winning your matchups, things like that. And, Jaden and Colton, they came in here. I think it was they early enrolled last year. And, they both have grown tremendously. I mean, from the weight room to practice, I'm really impressed with both of them. I mean, they're both making plays every day. They've both gotten so much better in the run game and the pass game. Coming in as a tight end to the SEC it's not easy. You don't really do the blocking you do in high school. So they both learned and they're getting better every day. And you see it every day, and we watch it. And they're both gonna be really good players here.
Coach Bobo was talking about how it hasn't been smooth as an offense or as a team for that matter, with a lot of ups and downs this season. As it relates to the offense, why do you think that is in terms of, maybe not being as productive as you guys would like overall?
I think it just all comes down to execution. We've got a lot of really good players, a lot of really good guys on our offense, and it just comes down to everyone being on the same page for that play. And, we've shown flashes of it. And, obviously there's going to be plays where, it doesn't work out how it's drawn up. But, I think when we're all focused and we're all locked in and, we execute to the best of our abilities, I mean, we're pretty dangerous.
Oscar, your first playoff game was actually obviously against Ohio State. Darnell gets hurt. You have to come in and really have to play a big role. How much of that game, just looking back, kind of maybe propel you, on your way to kind of where you're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, going into that game, I was not expecting to play much, if at all. And, I think it just comes down to how we prepare and how we practice, I mean, I remember Darnell went down and I got put in there and they didn't hesitate on any of the play calling. They didn't change anything because I was in there. And, they expect you to be ready. And I think the way we practice and the way we prepare, it made me ready, and it made the game easier than what it would have been if we didn't practice like we did.
Yeah, quick follow on. I don't have the mic, but just is that a lesson for the rest of the guys, maybe other guys who have not played much this year, that hey, my opportunity could come and kind of have you as an example of what can happen?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just got to buy into it and trust the process. I mean, we talk to guys that were here and that are in the NFL now all the time, and some of them didn't play until they were juniors, and then they ended up being first round picks. So just the way that we practice and we prepare and you get developed here, it's different than everywhere else, and you just got to buy into the process and trust it.
Yeah, you're someone who obviously knows Gunnar well. In these last 3 weeks with him taking over as a starting quarterback, where have you seen him maybe grow or change the most, if he has at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think just being more comfortable, just kind of being out there with the ones like the whole time. I've never started at quarterback. Anyone else on our team has ever started at quarterback really, and so it's a unique thing. And for him to kind of just get used to, all right, I'm the guy now, and just get that confidence that he has every play, I think is big for him, and I think he has that. And none of us are worried about anything. I mean, he came in that game. No one flinched. I mean, we all rallied behind him, and we know what kind of player he is. We've seen it for the past 3 years, and we know how good of a quarterback he is. So I think we're really just excited for everyone else to finally get to see what he can do.
Let's switch over to a couple of questions from Zoom.
First question will go to Bailey Burmaster.
Oscar, I have two questions, so I'll let you answer the first and then I'll follow up. What feels different in the run of a play with Gunnar leading the way versus Beck?
They both have their strengths and they both have their weaknesses. I mean, they're different. They complement each other in different ways. But I think with Gunnar, it gives us more of that option where, he can extend a lot of plays. And he's a physical guy, and y'all saw that in the SEC championship. I mean, he's not scared to put his shoulder down and run through someone. So, you just got to be ready at all times, scrambling, just extending plays with his legs, and, being ready to block for him because he's not going to want to slide.
In addition to that, with your relationship with Gunnar, what is something the average fan may not know about Gunnar?
I don't know. I mean, he's old school. I think people are starting to find that out a little bit, but he's old school. He's not a materialistic kind of guy. He doesn't care about all the NIL and all that stuff. He just likes being with his friends, his family, and his cows. So.
Next question will go to Wade Cheek with the Clayton Tribune. All right, we'll go to Palmer Toms and then try to come back to Wade Cheek. Palmer, go ahead.
Yeah, Oscar, looked like you were the first one to get to Trevor after his touchdown against Texas. What did you say to him, and just what is the difference of this offense with Trevor?
I was just so happy for him. I mean, he's a guy who came here and I mean, I feel like he's been here for since I got here. He's someone I really consider a brother, and I know the offense loves him. Everyone on the team loves him. He's a great leader, great person. And just to have him have that moment and me get to be there with him was really special. And I mean, he deserves it. Just the things he's been through this season that people don't really get to see. Behind the scenes it's huge. So I was really excited for him and really happy for him.
Try to go back to Wade Cheek with the Clayton Tribune. And we'll go to Charles Odom with the Associated Press.
Just a quick follow to what you said about how no one flinched starting the second half in Atlanta. What was that? That's had to be a lot for a guy getting that first important role. What was he like in the huddle for that second half, and especially in that first drive when you guys just charged down the field?
Yeah, I mean, he was calm. I mean, he was ready. He was comfortable. We practice all those scenarios, so it's not like a situation he was just thrown into that he's never been in before. Well, we do a good job of preparing everyone for drives and things like that happen, and we walk through. I mean, everything that could possibly happen in a game. So I think he was comfortable. He was calm. He was cool. And I mean, he was just excited. I mean, we got in the huddle and he's all right. Let's go finish this thing off. And we did it.
We got time for one more. Connor? Yeah, Mark.
All right. So have you met Gunner's cows, and what can you tell us about them?
I have. I've been up there a couple times, and he's got I think when I was up there, he had I think 3 or 4, and I think he's got more now. But there's always been the running joke of he made like an Instagram post a long time ago. It was always great to wake up to a new cow on game day or something, and everyone kind of loved that on the team. I mean, that's just the guy he is. I mean, he just loves stuff like that. I mean, he's not about all the Instagram fame and all that. I mean, he'll take a picture of his cow and post it when he's happy, and it's cool. I mean, he takes pride in it, so it's special. It's awesome.
All right, Oscar, thank you.
Thank you.
And talked about you already today. Now, obviously the drops and stuff like that, but one word everybody used to describe you as resilient. Is that the case for you? And if so, I mean, what makes you that way?
I'll probably say, yeah, you can consider me as that a resilient guy because like drops, like it's not what we want, but they happen. So it's how you respond from those. So just as long as I keep a clear head throughout the game and be ready when the ball comes to me next go around, and that's really all that matters. And I'll probably say the injuries, of course, like it's a setback, and it's really how you respond to those as well and come out stronger. Like don't let them like make who you are like in the moment. It's how you like recover from them and make sure like you come back healthy and just as strong, and like just like I never like lost my steps or like lost speed or anything like that.
Yeah, you're someone that came in with Carson Beck, and he recently announced that he is declaring for the NFL draft. What do you think that Carson should be remembered for in his time here at the University of Georgia?
A leader, a great football player. That's who he is. He makes sure that we're going to be in the right play, the right protection. When things don't go right throughout the game, like at halftime, he makes sure we're good. Make sure he's going around making sure like the offensive line is okay, the receivers are good, and things like that.
Said you haven't lost your speed. Are you still as fast as you were when you were running track? And also, can you kind of go down the list? You seem like you were snake bit for 3 years. You had so many different injuries. Can you kind of recap what all those were?
My first injury I had was my wrist. I did that in high school, and I didn't get it fixed until when I got here. So I played my senior year with the broke scaphoid in my wrist. So that was painful. Then I got here, I messed up my meniscus, my right knee. Got hold it from that. Came back, played like 4 games. Had my first reception as a touchdown in South Carolina. I remember that. Then my fibula broke my fibula. That had me out for a while. That was a season ending injury. I didn't come back that year. and then I got healthy from that. And then as soon as I got healthy from that, had a good spring, good fall. 2 weeks before Oregon, I think it's 2021 or 2022, I broke my ankle. I tore my deltoid ligament in my ankle. And I think that's it. Yeah, 4. My speed. I feel like it's not as fast as I would be running track because I'm not as focused on like the details of like running, um, more so as in football. So I feel like I'm still fast, but not as fast as track speed. So yeah.
On the SEC championship telecast, Herb Street said that he thought you were jumping as the ball got there, which may have explained the drops. Is there something to that? Have you looked at that?
Mm, I mean, I take accountability of all my drops. Like I try to not make excuses. I never do that. A drop is a drop. Coach always tells us my job is to catch the ball regardless of how it's thrown. If it's short, if it's overthrown, if it's too high, make sure I make effort to get it. One of the plays I probably say I did jump too early and misjudged it. That happens as well. So probably I jumped too early or misjudged it. So next time I make sure I do a better job of judging the ball. Make sure I don't jump if I don't need to and jump when I need to.
As a receiver, I want to ask you the difference in catching balls from Carson Beck to Gunnar Stockton. Are there some adjustments that you have to make from that standpoint?
Yes, everybody's different. Like they say, I run routes different than Dylan Bell or Gunnar definitely throws a different ball than Carson. Um, so just adjusting to those, it's just time with the quarterback practice. Make sure I get those throws in practice or after practice if I don't get a lot of catches in practice. So just taking the time to like make time so I get those different catches. Where it's like I'm running out and they throw the ball like it's the drops too. Like their balls drop differently because how they release the ball. So they definitely do it different. But my job is to catch the ball.
Yeah, you had 2 huge plays in that SEC championship game. Obviously, the first down on the punt, and then the fumble recovery that you had of the Nate Frazier fumble. Could you just sort of walk me through those 2 plays and what you remember about them, what you saw on those plays?
The fake punt, I remember my teammates asked me, was I nervous to get the punt, like the fake punt, like when they called it? No, because it's just like offense. Like it's just like a different formation or different like moment or situation in the game. Like it's not offense, it's punt, but it's still offense to me. Like I got to get the ball and go get the first. Coach said, make sure I get the first. Don't worry about nothing else. Like don't do too much. Make sure I protect the ball and get the first. And that's what I did. So when I did it, the whole sideline went crazy. The stadium was rocking, and I knew we had momentum again. So I did my job on that. And the fumble recovery, I remember I was looking. I was looking at I was blocking, and I peeked back and looked in the backfield, and I see Nate come around the corner, and I was like, "Oh, he might score because he had like broke a tackle and like running." Something told me just run. It's just habit, like just muscle memory. I just ran after him and tried to push him in the end zone and make sure like the ball didn't come out. And I'd be dang, the ball came out, and I and I jumped on it, and yeah, my team was like, "Good job, good job. That's a great play. That saved the game." And I, like I said, resiliency. Like I could have been messed up throughout the game when I had those drives and been down on myself and not been in my space. Like it's gonna happen. Like you just got to be prepared when it does.
It's another postseason trip for you guys, and you in particular. You've been in with the program for a while now. What are your memories besides winning games of some of the bowl games you've been to? Do you have any swag from some of those trips? And have you ever been to New Orleans?
No, I never been in New Orleans, but I'll probably say the memories has been with my teammates. This bowl game is a little different than the past because like when we went to Miami, was it last year? I think yeah, FSU. It was different because we were there for a week and we had like separate times set to like go do things with the team or like times to like go be out with our like teammates and do stuff like go out to walk down the street and get like a snack or something like that. This is different because it's like a business trip. Coach calls it. We're not there to have fun. We're there to go in and make sure we advance because it's win or die these playoff rounds. So it's not like it was in the past. It's very different. And this is our first game, so we don't know how it is until we get into the bowl site in the bowl game. So I'm very excited to be a part of New Orleans. I've never been there, so.
Switch to Zoom questions now.
First question will go to Bailey Burmaster.
Hey, Arian, 2 questions. I'll let you answer the first one and then I'll ask the second. Outside of reps, what more can you guys as receivers do to continue to build that chemistry basically up until game time with Gunnar?
I'll probably say trust ourselves, trust the quarterback, trust the process, and just go out there and be confident and don't overthink when the ball comes our way.
In addition, we just talked to Oscar Delp, who told us about Gunner's cows. I'm curious what you know about these cows and what you can say about Gunner the person off the field.
Nah, I don't know too much about his cows. I make sure I will ask him about him because I didn't ask him about him yet, so I'll make sure I ask him after this. But no, Gunners he's a humble guy. Y'all probably seen that went viral what he drives. I've been seeing that that truck he drives all the time at the practice. I asked him about it one time. I told him it was nice. But he's a down to earth guy. He's not too flashy. He doesn't talk too much. He doesn't do too much. He lets his actions speak. So yeah.
Next question will come from Wade Cheek.
Aaron, I had some microphone issues, so I wasn't able to ask Oscar this, but I'll ask you. Oscar's quote, Raven County baby, is still resonating with the Raven community. It's clear they've rallied around their hometown kid. How important is it for you guys to rally around him? And is there anything specific for you as a receiver that you've done to try to help him prepare for this first playoff game?
Yes, some things I've done to like rally with Gunner and like other teammates is stay after practice and get extra catches with them and talk through things with them because like if practice is going quicker and faster and we don't have the time to like slow the game down and walk through things and talk to the quarterback and ask him what he wants and he asks us what we want on like a throw or something like that or what we're comfortable at and like things like that. But coach tells us the like Gunner's not gonna like he's gonna play good, but us around him is gonna make him play better, and we have to play confidence and do the things throughout the game so that he plays to the up to the standard of our team. So we make the game easier for him, and he makes it easier for us, like complementary football.
Next question will come from Palmer Toms.
Yeah, Arian, just what have you seen as a difference from Trevor this season?
I'll probably say his resiliency. He had some injuries throughout the season, like bugs, like kept like coming up and then going away, and just his commitment to the team and owning his role throughout the season. He does what he's asked to do and doesn't complain.
And final question will go to Charles Odom with the Associated Press.
He's asking a lot for a quarterback to make his first start in a playoff atmosphere. How important was that SEC championship game, not only for Gunner, but for the offense's confidence in him as you guys move forward into the playoff?
It was very important for us to come out victorious in an SEC championship. Not only did Gunner play like pretty good for his first big game, I'll probably say that we helped him. Like you probably seen the video that went viral about Lucky and stuff like that. Just us rallying around him and telling him good things and being positive around him helps him bring up his confidence and allows him to play good and free.
That wraps up.
Would you go in a little more detail about guys throwing different balls, how it's different to you as a wide receiver, catching one from Carson, catching one from Gunner? Explain it to us who don't catch footballs for a living.
It's hard to explain it. Like it's easier to be out there and like notice it and feel it, but like I try not to like dive too deep into it because like that's really not the issue. And like, as a quarterback or like a receiver, like the problem is the drop, so I got to fix that. But I'll probably say the spin or the drop of the ball. Like sometimes it nose dives or, like it just looks different. The perception of the ball when it comes to you. So you can misjudge it if you don't follow through all the way with your eyes. So just being on the deep.
In the second half of that Texas game, the run game seemed to really open up for you guys. What does Gunner's presence sort of do for this rushing attack, especially with his own mobility and the way he's willing to run?
I mean, it's great for us. It's great for the team. It's just you kind of really have to take an accountability that he can run the ball. So it makes it harder for defenses to play us. So that's something that'll be huge for us moving forward.
You're from the state of Louisiana, Louisiana native, going back to play in the Superdome there. Sort of memories do you have of being in that stadium, and what's sort of your excitement level for playing in that game?
I mean, words can't describe how excited I am to be back home, playing in New Orleans, playing in Louisiana. But I actually don't have that good of a history with games in that stadium. I lost in the state championship. It was terrible. My brother lost in college, I believe, twice in that stadium. But his last game there, he won. So I can't say we're on the upside of what we call it, the dome curse. So, man, it's going to be electric. I can't wait. I'm excited about it.
Trevor, I just want to see if I can get you to kind of talk about your journey this year. Some good ups, or some downs with the injuries and everything. And here you are now, back healthy. Georgia's ready to looking to make a title run.
Sir.
Just what all that has been like for you this year.
I mean, it's been a blessing, honestly. I feel like every setback was just way of God talking to me. Just telling me to be patient. You know, and I feel like it's great to have guys in this building and on the team to be there for me in those times. So I mean, it's been crazy, and coming back from injuries is nobody wants to be injured. Nobody wants to miss games or anything like that. So just being able to come back and have the game that I had, just trying to keep building on that and keep, stacking days moving forward.
What did you have to wear for your ribs during the last game, and is it better, or are you still going to be wearing that for this game?
Now I'll definitely be wearing it, but my ribs are a lot better. It's no pain in there whatsoever, but I'll definitely be wearing it. It's like a little flight jacket. It's just something to protect my ribs.
But how bad was the injury? Was they cracks, fractures, broken? Your ribs were busted up, but how bad?
That was pretty bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad, man. But like I said, healthy now and just excited to be back out there with the guys.
I know you've been asked about Nate in the past, but just from what you've seen from him, this year, I would assume you probably try to take him under your wing just a little bit and just kind of where you think he's at in this point in his young career.
I mean, I feel like he's ahead of most. He's having a great freshman season, and I feel like he will only build from here. So just trying to help him slow the game down is just something I've been trying to help him with all season. But as you see, he has no problem doing that himself. So I'm just really proud of him, proud of what he's done, and just can't wait to see what the future holds for him.
What do you expect to see from Notre Dame's defense when you guys line up in New Orleans?
I mean, they're a fast, physical defense. They don't do a lot of crazy things, crazy stunts or anything, but they will play hard. They will swarm the ball, and they will play tough for all 4 quarters.
Any person questions at this time? All right, we'll switch over to Zoom questions.
First Zoom question will go to Ted Lewis with the Times-Picayune.
Yeah, Trevor, you talked about seeing your brother in the Sugar Bowl. What's it like being a little brother and trying to live up, to someone of Travis's stature? How much do y'all talk? And the other question is, you talk about the ups and downs of this season. How much were you afraid that back in the spring when you had the rest that you had somehow derailed your college career at Georgia just right off the bat?
I mean, just having someone in that position, my brother is there for me no matter what goes on, no matter what happens. He's someone I can call and count on. It's a blessing to have someone in that position. Like I always say, a living, breathing example that's doing and that's at where I'm trying to be. So it's just a blessing. And, just like you said, how did I feel when I had the injury? I mean, it really didn't faze me much. It was just like more of a mental thing than anything. Just like I said, having those guys in the locker room around the building, just trusting and believing in me, it kind of made it easier to come back and, be myself.
Thanks.
Next question to Wade Cheek.
Trevor, with the switch from Carson to Gunner, how was your relationship with Gunner over these last couple of weeks between the SEC championship game and the Sugar Bowl developed? And is there anything that has stood out to you that's given confidence in you with your new quarterback?
I mean, I've always had confidence in Gunner. Me and Gunner have been having a great relationship since high school. He comes in and work hard every day like he's quarterback one since I've been here. So it's really like it's nothing's new to me. Like I'm just, happy for him, excited for him. I have a great relationship with Carson also. I'm rooting for him, wishing him nothing but the best. But like I said, Gunner's fearless, man, and that's just something that really stands out about him to me the most.
Next, we'll go to Palmer Toms.
Yeah, Trevor, just going back to the injury stuff, what are the type of things that you do to try to maybe help ribs heal, and how big has this last 3 weeks off been for you?
I mean, these 3 weeks have been huge, just giving my body time to rest and recover. But there's really nothing you can do for a rib injury but time. Time is the only thing that heals it. So for me, it was the more staying in shape, just not sitting around doing nothing, doing what my body could tolerate at the time.
Next question to go to Bailey Burmaster.
Two questions for you, Trevor. First off, you talked about it a little bit early on, but what does it mean to just be a part of the CFP run with Georgia and just the energy and the emotion you have of getting back out there when you get to New Orleans?
I mean, it's huge. This is the game that every college player wants to be part of at the end of the year. This is the reason, like, we go through the off-season training and we put all the hard work in to be able to get a shot at the title. And this is, a step along that road. So it's just really a blessing and a great feeling to be a part of something this special.
Where Gunner's concerned, Oscar Delp told us that he just loves to be with his cows. I'm curious what you know about Gunner's cows and what you can speak to him as a person off the field.
Oh no, man, Gunner's a real quiet person. He's real chill, real laid back. But man, I just love the guy, man. I don't know much about his cows. I'm gonna have to ask him about it. But man, just have nothing but love for Gunner.
Next question from Graham Coffey.
Hey, Trevor. You were a guy who has been pretty vocal about your, transfer process and wanting to come somewhere where you could compete for championships and play in games like this. Just curious, kind of how that decision to come to Georgia feels now, and if that, adds a little extra juice and excitement for you coming into a playoff game.
I mean, definitely. Like I said, this is why you come to Georgia, and just being in a position that, to win a national title is huge.
I will switch back into the room. Mark?
So are you a gumbo or jambalaya guy, and any food you want to eat in New Orleans or tell your teammates about?
Gumbo, definitely. Definitely a gumbo guy. And I have to go by Drago's. Drago's, yeah, I love that place.
Time for one more if we have it in person. All right, Trevor, that's good. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
That was the year in the yeah, sorry. I was